Hi class, we're going to discuss dividing polynomials, which is found in section 5-4, part 2 of your book. This time around, instead of using long division, we are going to divide using synthetic division. Alright, so we're going to use synthetic division to divide x cubed minus 14x squared plus 51x minus 54 by x plus 2. Okay, so synthetic division is kind of like a fake division. It's not using our powers. Well, it is using our powers, but it's not using any variables. We're just strictly dealing with numbers. So again, you do want to be sure that you're in standard form. So x cubed minus 14x squared plus 51x minus 54 is in standard form because it goes from third power, second power, first power, then to zero power. And then to figure out what you are dividing by, it's really the zero at that point. So the zero here would be -2. So we're going to set -2 on the outside. And then we're only going to use the coefficients of our terms. So the coefficients of our terms of our polynomial are 1x cubed minus 14x squared plus 51x, and I really shouldn't put plus, but just 51x, and then minus 54. Okay, so to go through the synthetic division process, you always bring down your first term. So our first number here is 1, and then you multiply. So -2 times 1 will give you -2. So you're always multiplying diagonally and you're adding and subtracting vertically. So -14 plus -2 gives us -16. Now we start over. -2 times -16 is +32. And then I add vertically. So 51 and 32 makes 83. One more time, multiply -2 and -83. Excuse me, +83. And that becomes -166. If I add those together, that will give me -220. And so since our highest power was x cubed, when I start rewriting this, it becomes 1 power less than. So this is now the x squared position, the x to the first, the no power, and this is our remainder. So our answer, or our quotient and remainder, are x squared minus 16x plus 83 minus 220 over our original expression, which is x plus 2. And we are done. All right, let's keep going. So we're going to try that again. So remember, we want to make sure that there are no gaps, and I already see that there's a gap. So let's go ahead and fix that first before we get started. That becomes x cubed, x squared, or there's none of them, so I need to put 0x squared minus 57x plus 56. And then as far as our 0 here, that's going to be 7. So when I set this up, this is 7. And then I use the coefficients. So 1x cubed, 0x squared, -57x, and 56. Okay, drop down the 1. 7 times 1 is 7. 0 and 7 is 7. 7 times 7 is 49. -57 and 49 is 8, or -8. 7 and -8 is -56. Add those, you get 0. So this time we don't have a remainder. So remember, for our highest power was x cubed. So now this 1 is going to represent x squared plus 7x minus 8 with no remainder. Okay, and now we're done. So let's go ahead and look at example 4. In example 4, now we're using synthetic division to solve a problem. So let's read. It says, polynomial below expresses the volume in cubic inches of a shadow box, which is basically a box with no lid, an empty box with no lid. It says, what are the dimensions of the box if the side length is x plus 5? So what we need to do is, remember, if something is volume of a box in particular, that's really length times width times height. So we really have 3 dimensions. We've already been told one of those dimensions are, so we need to find the other 2. Well, to be able to find out what the other 2 are, we can first start by dividing our polynomial by x plus 5. We first want to check to be sure that there are no gaps, which there are none. And then we need to be sure that we know what we're dividing. Our 0 should be, so our 0 is -5. So if I set that up, that'll be -5. And then we have oops, not x, 1x cubed plus 7x squared minus 38x minus 240. Okay, we're going to drop down the 1. So negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Add that and you get negative 48. Negative 48 times 5 is 240. And if you add that, you get 0. So the expression that is left over, aside from having x plus 5, or actually I should put it in pink, aside from having x plus 5, the other expression is going to be 1x squared plus 2x minus 48. All right, now based on that, we still need to break that down, because even if I have the length, this must represent the width and the height. So in other words, to find what those two factors are, we can either do AC or quadratic method, whatever. So let's see, if I did AC would give me negative 48. So 1 and 48 obviously isn't going to work. 2 and 24 isn't. I believe that's 3 and 18. Nope, I was wrong. 3 and 16 isn't going to work. 4 and 12 is not going to work. But 6 and 8 is. And it's going to be positive 8 and negative 6. So skipping some steps, because I already know what those two factors are. If I have negative 6 and positive 8, then it's going to be x minus 6 and x plus 8. So the dimensions of our box, the volume will be x plus 5, which was our first expression given to us, and then the other two that we found on our own, which are x minus 6 and x plus 8. And we're going to move from there. So we're going to try this again, and I just realized I left off the expression. So that expression on try 4 should have been, that I forgot, is x cubed plus 6x squared plus 11x plus 6. There are no gaps, so let's just go ahead and start. That 0 would be negative 1. So negative 1 sits on the outside. I have 1x cubed, 6x squared, 11x, and 6. You drop down the 1. Remember, we're trying to find the dimensions of the box. We already have the width. So in other words, we must want to find the length and the height. Okay, so negative 1 and 1 will give you negative 1. If I add those, I get 5. Multiply, I get negative 5. Add, I get 6. Multiply, I get negative 6. Add, I get 0. So this expression, if the highest power was cubed, now this is 1x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, AC is going to be 6. So that's 1 and 6, or 2 and 3. It's going to be 2 and 3 because they both need to be positive. So the factors are the original one for volume was x plus 1, which was given to us in the expression. And then the length and the height, remember it doesn't matter which one is which, are going to be x plus 2 and x plus 3. All right, one more. In example 5, we are given a polynomial expression and we are asked to evaluate. Guys, we've been evaluating since, a really, really long time. So all we're doing is finding what p of 3 is. Notice that 3 is in the same position as x, so we're just substituting 3 as x. So p of 3 would be 3 to the 5th minus 8 times 3 cubed minus 3 squared plus 2. 3 to the 5th is going to give us 243 minus 8 times 9 minus 9 plus 2. If I keep going, that's going to be 243 minus 72 minus 9 plus 2. And so if I add all that together, P of 3 will equal 164. We are done. Very simple, very straightforward. We can figure that out. All right, let's do the next one just like it. This one now is P of negative 4. So remember, you're replacing negative 4 with x. So that becomes P of negative 4. And you got to be careful with the integers. Be sure that you're always substituting using parentheses. That's negative 4 still. Plus 5 times negative 4 plus 20. All right, negative 4 to the 5th is going to be negative 1,024 minus 3 times 256. And this one is cubed. I almost forgot that. So minus 28 times negative, I believe that should be 64, but let me check. Yep, 64. Minus 20 plus 20. Now those, that negative 20 and plus 20 at the end are going to cancel, so we're going to ignore that. So keep going. Negative 1,024 minus 768 plus 1792. And our total is going to equal I was surprised. Okay, our total is going to equal 0. And we are done. All right, so guys, if you have any questions, be sure to come see me for tutoring. Otherwise, we are done with this lesson.